Thank you for joining me today on Good News with Twanda Black, where we're discovering some of the most inspiring trials to triumph stories and empowerment moments. Call up a friend and let them know it's time for some good news. Hello, I'm Twanda Black, and welcome to Good News. You know what? We talk to folks from all walks of life. And today we're going to talk about some holiday stuff. You know, it's the holiday time. And I want everybody to have a wonderful, memorable holiday. So sit back, relax, and enjoy my next guest. Joining us is Mary Hill Hart. She is a licensed, tell me the rest of it.
Professional counselor.
Licensed professional counselor, because I got therapists over here, so you know.
Same thing.
Yeah. I mean, and I've known this young lady for a while, and she's been doing her thing for some years. So I brought Mary on because, you know, every year folks go through something during the holiday time, whether it's grief because mama, daddy, somebody, husband's not there, whether it's being overwhelmed by everything or not having enough, or it's just a lot. You know, even in the best of circumstances, holidays can be a lot. Definitely. I wrote this blog many years ago when my kids were little. Actually, that's how long it was. And the name of the blog was I Hate Christmas. Okay. And so I told the story about how during the holidays, being a single mom with two boys, it was just tough. So I had to work extra and half the time take them with me. Oh my God, taking kids on the job is not cool, especially when it's in entertainment. You know, trying to make enough money to pay your bills and get extra and all of that. And you just wanted perfection. And then you had to discover perfection doesn't exist. And that nobody don't care anyway, you know? So, but at the end, you know, I cleaned it all up by talking about how I turned it around for myself, how I began to say no, how I prepared early on where I didn't have to take so many jobs during that time, but I was just learning at that time, how I spent more time with the kids and just enjoyed doing the things I wanted to do. So now I know how to celebrate the holiday and not stress me out. But a lot of us have not gotten there. I see a lot of older people, I gotta do this. And I was like, why you gotta do all that? Because everybody's expecting you to do it. So let's talk about that for a moment. First of all, the perfection piece, I think, is the biggest thing, because we think especially when you're having company over, people spending time at your house, you think everything's got to be perfect.
And that is true. And thank you for bringing that up. The reality is a lot of times it's the insecurity. And striving for that perfection, as you mentioned, does not exist, just like control doesn't exist. We fail to realize that our household looks just like someone else's, meaning that one of my cousins had told me, even in the king's house, there's spiders in the corner. And it's the truth. The bottom line is we are overcompensating for that need that we're missing, or that Christmas that we didn't have, or those house guests that we weren't able to enjoy when we were growing up. So perfection, you know, making sure that this is perfect and that is perfect. The reality is it takes away the whole reason why you're getting together at the holiday season anyways. And that is to enjoy the company of your family, to enjoy the company of your friends if you are not celebrating with your family. Right. You know, it's whoever you are with, being thankful for them in that moment and that opportunity just to be able to share things or just share that time with one another.
Because that's the best, to me, that's the best part of the holidays, is just getting together with friends. You know, no schedules, nobody got to take no phone calls, and just enjoying some downtime. Just letting your hair down, have that glass of wine or whatever it is, eggnog, with a little something in it if you need to.
Yeah,
And,
yeah,
just like just having a wonderful time. Sometimes when my friends come over to just sit, I never want them to leave because we have so
right,
much fun. We just
right,
have so much fun.
right.
So talk about being overwhelmed. I think that's a whole nother piece. I'm not. It goes along with the perfection part, but just getting overwhelmed because there's so much to do.
It's called preparation. Because we can have that Martha attitude where this
Oh,
has to be right, this has to be right. Realistically, Jesus is not coming over for dinner. However, we have a tendency of acting like that. And the reality is it's prepared because you mentioned that you started being intentional of making time for yourself so you can also enjoy what it is that you're trying to do for your
yeah.
sons. And the reality is if you know that you are having 7 people that's coming over on Wednesday. I mean, well, Thanksgiving on Thursday and today is Wednesday.
Hmm.
Well, and it's the Wednesday before, this is a week before Thanksgiving, start preparing. If that means you want to set the vacuum, get that in, knowing that there's going to be certain rooms in your house that you don't
Right.
have to go through, start
Hmm.
preparing that slowly.
Hmm.
Start preparing your dinner ahead of time, meaning that if you have to do your dressing a week before, or that ham, go ahead and purchase one that's already cooked. So
Yes.
therefore that all you have to do is just heat it up.
Hmm.
Start
Hmm.
start planning and preparing and making your life easy, as I call it. It's just like cheap cooking. Homemade simple. If I can cut down the cooking time, I'm going to do what I can to make it easy for me because that's less stress I
Right.
have to worry about and more time that I can enjoy with my friends and my family.
Hmm. Hmm. I know during the Christmas time, it's the worst for being overwhelmed.
Yes.
And it is just, and I always tell my friends, they're like, I haven't done anything. And I was like, but you knew it was coming, right?
That day has not
It's
changed.
the same time every year, right? So what's the problem?
Again, it's the perfectionism. Again, it's making sure that you're not missing out or this has to be right. And it's also that people pleasing.
Yeah.
Are we
Oh, yeah.
really doing this for the right reasons? And we need to start looking in it, looking within ourselves to say, hey, really, I need to put a self-check on this.
Hmm. Hmm.
Because
Hmm.
otherwise it's going to cause unnecessary stress, lack of sleep, irritability.
Oh,
You're going
yeah.
to be snapping at people, and then you're going to put on that fake face when somebody comes to the door, knowing you're just, you're frazzled. So it's not worth it in the end. So if you know that these are some patterns that you've done in the past, be intentional of trying to do
Yeah.
something different this time.
Yeah. Yeah. And I always say your children are not going to remember,
Right.
um, you know, all the fancy, the whatever. They're just going to remember the time you spent with them.
Right.
Me and my boys, I mean, they're in their 30s now, but we always talk about, remember when we did this? Remember, and it was simple things. So
Right.
they're going to remember that. They're not going to remember that you put up 10 Christmas trees,
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
really.
And not only that, though, you want to be able to plant that seed to where they can, when they get to be grown and have their own families, that they can set their new traditions. But you don't want one that it's etched in their mind
Right.
that it's chaotic,
Hmm.
that it's stress. There's a
Hmm.
lot of hollering and screaming that we have to do all of this chaos.
Right.
And then when everyone comes to the door, it's like, hi,
Hi.
come on in. And
I've been waiting for you.
and you don't want to create that because you're creating a legacy.
Yeah.
And that is, making sure that they can enjoy and take the focus back to the real reason for the season to celebrate with family.
Right, right, right. So another part of the holidays is really dealing with your emotional health. A lot of people um, are grieving
Yep.
and they get sad during the holidays because mama or daddy, husband, wife, whoever are not there.
Yep.
And I think that's a very difficult place to be. How do you deal with, and I think a lot of people are lonely because they don't come out and share, or they don't, have folks or whatever, or they keep themselves isolated. But talk about, how do you get through the holidays when you're grieving?
First and foremost, admit it. Be honest with yourself.
Hmm.
And those around you really are there for you. You know your tribe, you know your support system. When your friends and your family members come to you to say, call me, truly do that. And if you don't feel comfortable because of some type of family discord or some type of strain, then seek help, outside help, external help. Go to your pastor, find a therapist. But the reality is, you have a new norm in life at this point. Set standards as far as when it comes to new traditions. There's things that you can do that can continue to honor your loved one, depending on the relationship, whether it is your parents, whether it is your son or your daughter, or your significant other. The reality is, admit it first. Don't isolate, because that's not healthy.
Yeah.
The reality is, you tend to have develop into this self-loathing mentality and setting, and you don't want that, because it's going to be harder to come out of that, because the holidays are going to be there.
Oh yeah.
The reality is, you just have to celebrate and look at other ways on how you can honor your loved one. Look at that. Look at, how can I honor my loved one? If that means to light a candle, if that means to go serve, to help other people, again, you can do other things, be around your family members. But if you don't want to spend the whole day with them, set boundaries. Give some family time. Give some family time with your family or your friends. And yes, if you are going to be by yourself, make sure that you're using wise decisions, so you won't, so you can have some healthy coping strategies.
That's another part that you touched on, is sometimes we have to be with family members that we really don't have a relationship with.
Yes.
Or that, family, boy, they could be so messy. and they get together, and you might have those one or two people that like to start the mess.
Yeah.
Every family has that
Yes.
person.
Yes.
And so if you're not, strong enough or whatever, and you don't like that kind of chaos, that kind of environment, how do you deal with that? Is it okay to say, I'm not coming this year?
It is. However, find an alternative. Meaning that get connected with your friends or your family that that brings positivity to you. That is a breath of fresh air where you can laugh. There are families now, and I know, death can bring out the worst in people. Or even divorce, separation can bring out the worst of people.
Yeah.
Yes, you have that opportunity to set those boundaries and to say, this is not healthy for me. I want to be able to enjoy this holiday. Not only that, I want to be able to be healed, or start this pathways of just trying to deal with this new norm. And if that means you have to bow out gracefully, then do so. You can always send a pie or a cake or even a card, or you can do a Zoom call. Or do a face, a duo or FaceTime, just to speak, to say hello to people, and then go ahead and connect with those individuals that that are positive.
Yeah. It's tough. Some folks don't even want to be with their family at all. And so, and they're like, but I hate not to see Big Mama.
Right.
Because, Sister Sue is there.
Right.
But I said, but you can still interact with Big Mama without Sister Sue. Go see Big Mama the day before.
That's what I was getting ready to say. Spend time with her even the day afterwards. Just let it one-to-one time.
Yeah.
You can have your own holiday tradition. Because again, you're doing what is healthy for you mentally, physically, spiritually. Because either way, dealing with anger, lack of trust, offense, bitterness, it's not healthy for you internally.
Right.
because it can domino into so many other things.
Especially if you're holding it in.
Absolutely.
And you're not talking to anybody about it. The big families, certain ones only talk to certain ones because other ones talk too much. And they
and they tell your business,
right.
Or they're just messy, and you know it's just messy.
Right. Oh, it's so hard, but it's our family. So, but again, you choose. You still get to choose. Although it's your family, you still get to choose how you deal with that.
And that's true. The reality is, if you know, do a self-check. If you really know that this person has offended you in some way or shape or form, do what you can to clean that, because you want to be able to have a clean slate. You want to be able to, again, still enjoy, celebrate. But if you choose to have distance and you choose not to partake in that family gathering, that, again, it's okay to say no.
Yeah.
And again, create your own traditions.
And that's what I love too, is you get to create your own, and I want to say, on the flip side of that, family, folks, people, that if you know people who are depressed during this time of the year, who are going through, who are missing mama, daddy, whoever they're missing, or they're just going through something, reach out. Because a lot of times we get so wrapped up with us, we forget to reach out. Call somebody. I call my friends all the time. Hey, just checking on you. What's up? But check on them, especially during the holidays. My mom had a friend, one of her best friends, and her husband died during the year, close to Christmas. So every Christmas, she came over, or we went over to her house, and we would have eggnog. First thing in the morning, before everything I started, church, anything, she would come over and just sit down, and they would chat and exchange gifts. Now she's gone on to be with the Lord now, but that was her way of dealing with her loneliness. Yeah.
And not only that, she connected with people who loved her, who allowed her to be her, and just allowed her to be in the present. A lot of times that's what we need, is just to be in the presence of someone.
Yeah.
We don't have to have that conversation, just to enjoy the company of people who love us, who understands where we're at. No judgment, no conversation. There doesn't have to be anything fancy. If it's just Sunday morning eggnog, or let it be that.
Yep.
And enjoy that anyhow, because that's all you need a lot of times.
Yeah. She would bring over coffee cake, and she was wonderful. She was wonderful. But check on your people.
Absolutely. And you mentioned that, and I don't mean to interrupt you, and I thank you, because suicide rate this time of the year,
every year
through February, is a tough time. And that starts just like, the holiday season generally starts after Halloween.
Yeah.
Going into February, that love month is a tough time for a lot of people. Yes, self-check. Yes, welfare checks, and just check-in calls. You have to do that, because it's so easy for us to get so caught up with our life that we tend to forget.
We do.
There are people out there that are still struggling.
That's right.
In certain areas. So we have to, because we don't want to run that risk of losing another person simply because we forgot to check on them.
That's right. And then you're like, I didn't know they were in so much pain. I didn't know. But that's your friend.
But you can't see pain, and that's another thing. We cannot see pain. And we wear masks every single day. Just like you mentioned, if the house is chaotic, come to my door. We're going to start feasting. I'm going to say, hi, I'm going to switch that mask. Start picking up body language. Start picking up, conversation. Start listening clearly. If your friends or family member are displaying certain things and trying to make, new resolves, or trying to give away items, or just little comments, or trying to get their house in order, pay attention to that.
That's
Pay
right.
attention to that.
That's right. That's right. Mary, thank you so much for just joining us and giving us these tips. Talk about Hart Recovery Center and what you do there, what you offer, how folks can reach out to you.
Well, thank you so much. Hart Recovery Center I'm a licensed professional counselor. I'm a national certified counselor as well as a certified grief specialist. We offer online individual counseling group. Because we are in a pandemic, I'm keeping it safe. It's just like it's individual, one-to-one, in person.
Mm-hmm.
And what we do is we offer anger management groups for adults, juvenile mandated anger management groups
Mm-hmm.
for
Mm-hmm.
adolescents.
Mm-hmm.
As I mentioned, individual group counseling or in group counseling. And I serve military population, those that are suffering grief
Huge.
and loss,
Mm-hmm.
anxiety, depression, if you have life stressors or just transitioning adulting. I have a lot of the Gen X population, the 19 to 26 age range that are going through adulting. And realistically, they don't know how to adjust. So
Yeah.
I'm here to offer a safe space to hear what you have to say. If you need to reach out to me, please contact me by phone at 478-227-8502, or you can look at my website at heartrecoveryscenter.clientsecure.me, M-E, and you can go ahead and look at my rates, book an appointment, and of course, I will find what it is that I can do to help you through this pathway of life, this new change of life, and just walk with you on this journey.
Yeah. Yeah. And we all need that. Look, I'm going to say that therapy is the best thing that can happen to you. I know that as people of color, sometimes we've given it a bad name.
Yeah.
But let me tell you something. All of us need to be laying on somebody's couch at some point.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And rest assured, professionals need professionals.
Exactly. Even y'all. That's right. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Reality is those are self-checks, maintenance checks to know where you're at in life that's working, so you can go ahead and craft that. But not only that, to work on those areas that you still need a little assistance. Sometimes we need to talk to somebody.
That's right. That's right. Because you can have it all in your head and your heart, and it's painful, and you don't know what to do with those emotions.
Yep.
And a lot of times we don't know where to start.
Right.
We might have the end. Okay, the end. I'm tired. I don't want to be here anymore. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. I'm leaving, or whatever you want to say. But how do you start? What's the beginning of healing?
Being true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Being true to yourself and just asking someone. And again, a lot of times we can't talk to one another because we fear of being judged.
Right, right.
There's professionals here for that reason.
That's right. That's right.
Get it all out,
Mm-hmm.
put it in a safe space so you can be able to unload it and move on and do what you need to do in life, and just help sort out what's going on with you.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. All right, Mary Hill Hart. She is CEO of Hart Recovery Center. You see all of her information scrolling throughout the interview. If you need someone to talk to, she is the absolute best at what she does. So thank you so much for joining us today. I really appreciate it. And God bless you. Happy holidays.
Likewise. Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, now, if you want to be a guest on the show, you can email me at Twanda Black at thepgnetwork.org or goodnews@thepgnetwork.org. Watch the show on PGN TV via all digital streaming apps, or visit us at pgntv.org. Hey, I'll see you next time. Happy holidays. I'm always going to have some good news for you. God bless you.